Hollywood is the U.S. global publicist. Well, that's my firm belief. They take the best of the U.S. and they present it into the world in a pretty sexy, seductive, and glamorous way. And they've been very, very effective. For decades, we've been enjoying the loving shares of the world for what they call this American dream. Little do they know that every single American is buried in debt from the time we were born and will most likely remain there until we die. When the glamorous and mighty Hollywood started getting plagued with scandals, you can't help but worry. Nearly 19 years ago, Bill Cosby was accused of rape. This event had a domino effect that led to the firing of some of the biggest names, from producers to on-cam personalities. They all went down one by one. 3 years ago, the entire industry shut down due to the pandemic. Now the writers are on strike, shutting down many TV shows, including late night. The question is, why? Because they're not getting paid well in residuals. Residuals refer to money paid to people who worked on a piece of media when it gets repackaged, resold, or re-aired. And so there's been 4 major writer strikes in history. The first one was in 1960. Then the writers demanded that they get a share of the profits when a movie they wrote aired on television. Another one happened in 1973. This time the writers wanted to guarantee they got their share of the profit from shows that aired on cable. At that time, cable TV was in its infancy. The third strike happened in 1980. This is when movies were getting distributed through home videos like VHS and later through laser discs. The very last one before this one was in 2007. Here, writers fought for their residuals for anything on new media. That's basically anything online. It became a default in their contracts to have a minimum basic agreement, or an MBA, which said the minimum members could be paid for their work. And it seems like things are getting worse. Streaming services pay single fixed residuals. The number of viewers doesn't affect the amount. In fact, writer Valentina Garza recently shared residual checks for writing 2 episodes of the show Jane the Virgin. She got a whopping 1 cent for one and then 2 cents for the other show. Writers want this to change. They're fighting to ensure that working on a streaming service pays out in a manner closer to traditional TV and closer to the way previous generations of writers, directors, and actors fought for years to achieve. We hope this ends well for the writers. If the number of shutdowns is any indication, writers are the backbone of a show. Without them, there's no TV, no films, no entertainment. For the rest of you who may want to pursue a career in Hollywood, know that it's a tough industry and very few hit the jackpot. While you grind to build your name, be sure to think about the future. Be practical. Invest that. You got some extra money? Invest it. Open an individual retirement account or an IRA and put yourself in a position to have some money later. The earlier you start, the better. The earlier you start, the better. When you're secure, you can take more risks and more gambles. This has been Colin Plume, CEO of Noble Gold Investments.